Welcome to my channel, guys. This video is going to be about how to pass your CompTIA exam on your first attempt. This is a video I personally wish I had before diving into studying for my CompTIA A+ exam. I have used the strategies that I go through in this video on multiple CompTIA exams, and I've passed each one of them on my first attempt. Just as a credential, this is the card to show that I did pass my CompTIA A+ exam. Alright guys, let's talk about timing. How long is this certificate going to take you? So personally, I had this certificate as my main priority at the time of taking it. I did not have a full-time job. I don't have any children. With that being said, this certificate took me 5 to 6 weeks. If you are not in the same situation as me, I would forecast a bit longer to study for this certificate. Now, one of the most important things to take away from this video, maybe top 2 things in this video, is to book your exam before you start studying. So if you are the same situation as me, book your exam on the CompTIA website 5 to 6 weeks out from when you start studying. This will ensure you are adequately prepared for your exam and you're not procrastinating before that exam date. Highly recommend it. Trust me, try this, it will help you. So the CompTIA A+ exam has a Core 1 component where it has its own specific exam, and it has a Core 2 component which has a separate exam. So each core is broken down into exam objectives. So exam objectives is what CompTIA is telling you they want you to study and know in order to be successful in the exam. So if you search up CompTIA exam objectives into Google and click this first link here, you'll be brought up to this page. Type in your information and request the CompTIA A+ exam, and then from there you can download the CompTIA A+ exam objectives for Core 1 and Core 2. So right here you can see the CompTIA exam objectives for Core 1. For Core 1 you need a minimum of 675 on a scale of 900 to pass, and these are the core topics that are taught for the Core 1 exam. So how I would recommend going at this, and as you can see it's quite a bit of content per core, is to get the basic bundle. So what the basic bundle comes with is it comes with 2 exam vouchers, so essentially 2 tries at the exam. So one for the CompTIA A+ Core 1 and one for the CompTIA A+ Core 2, and an exam free retake for each one. It also comes with a self-paced study guide. So this study guide is a really nice, in-depth, you could say textbook style e-learning guide. So this e-learning guide breaks down each topic for each core really nicely, and it's really easy to understand. And at the end of each topic, it'll ask you questions in order to kind of reinforce what you learned. So how I would recommend going at this is I would purchase this exam guide, and as you can see, it's $720 US. At the end of the video, I will provide some ways to get this price even cheaper, because this is a pretty hefty price line. So what I would recommend is you get the e-learning guide from the basic bundle, the textbook, and for each section, you want to read the e-learning guide, and for each topic, you want to look at your exam objectives. So as you can see, here you have, let's say, hardware and device replacement. So it's going to talk to you about what is random access memory, the different types, battery, keyboard, and keys. And for these topics, when you don't understand a topic, you want to really make sure you understand each topic. In certain topics, you will have to memorize. There's some acronyms, some commands, and stuff you will have to memorize for each core. So how I'd recommend kind of ingesting all this content would be to use cue cards. And one of my favorite tools that I discovered during the studying journey is Anki Notes. So Anki Notes is a tool that seems to be very commonly used by medical students for really understanding and ingesting significant amounts of information and memorizing some information when needed. So as you can see here, these are my Security Plus notes, and this is another certificate that I have. And as you can see, I don't have A+ notes here. That's because for the A+, I did use just written cue cards. I highly, highly recommend using this instead. It has a bunch of different features where you can really enforce like memory enforcement and different things You can search up another YouTube video for how to use Anki and really maximize its potential. There's tons of great YouTube videos out there. What I really recommend here is go through each topic from the e-learning study guide that you purchased in the bundle and make a cue card for each topic. So let's say for hard disk drives, you can ask yourself, what is the difference between a hard disk drive and a solid state drive? Why might I want to use a solid state drive over a hard disk drive? Certain things like that, where it's not just pure regurgitation based on the topic, and you're really actually trying to understand the content. All right, so another really important thing for you guys to do is while you're reading your e-learning study guide, you have your exam objectives and you have your cue cards. What you want to do is use some sort of note-taking app. Here I'm using Notion, and you want to write down, this is the absolute first thing I did when I started my CompTIA Plus studying. I wrote a to-do list with every single exam objective. So as you can see, this is core 1. It has all the exam objectives. I highlighted certain things maybe I wanted to go back to, and I checked off certain things that I'd already covered. So you can see a few things aren't checked off here, but the majority of stuff is checked off. And once you kind of understand an exam objective, or let's say you've done your cue card, you can check that off. And this really helps you stay on top of your progress. As you're going, you can see, okay, maybe I'm halfway down through my scroll list. I'm almost there. Okay, I still have a lot to go, but it's going pretty good so far. So this is a great way to track your progress. Highly recommend it. Just to recap so far, what you guys want to do is you want to have you want to purchase the basic bundle. You want to read the e-learning study guide while having your exam objectives on the side. And you want to ask yourself questions about the exam objectives using cue cards, specifically Anki software, which you can download. It's just open source software. I'll provide the link below. And you want to have a checklist on a note-taking app. You can use Notion, Joplin, whatever your preferred note-taking app is. And you want to check off the exam objectives as you go through. So I found the best way to review all the information that I had just studied through studying my cue cards and covering all my exam objectives are Jason Dion's practice exams. So as you can see on the screen here, we have the Core 1 practice exam on Udemy, and Jason Dion has a really good way of formatting his questions. So the style of the question is very similar to how CompTIA asks. I'd highly, highly, highly recommend doing some of Jason Dion's practice exams. I think they are instrumental in passing the CompTIA A+ exam and other future CompTIA exams. Jason Dion recommends that you get 90% on his practice exams. I personally did his practice exams for CompTIA Core 1, Core 2, and for the Security Plus. For all those exams, I passed the actual CompTIA certificate exam on the first try, and he recommends you get a 90% on his practice exams before taking the actual certificate exam. I did not get a 90% on any of his practice exams. Some of them I got 60%, 70, 80. So you don't really stress too much about getting this 90% exam score before moving on to the certificate exam. Make sure you're really comfortable and confident with the cue cards you took, with the exam study guide, and once you feel confident, you've done some practice exams, you understand how the questions are going to be asked, you're definitely ready to take your CompTIA exam. All right, let's talk about the exam breakdown. So the exam is made up of performance-based questions and multiple choice questions. Multiple choice questions, you won't be given more than 90 questions. And the performance-based questions, you should have around 3 performance-based questions, give or take. So for the performance-based questions, I believe if you apply the strategy that I explained, using the cue cards, really asking yourself good questions about the exam objectives, you should be ready to tackle these performance-based questions. If you do want even more practice for these performance-based questions, I'd recommend setting up virtual machines. You can use different software to set them up. So what a virtual machine is it allows you to use Windows or Linux operating systems, let's say in a Mac environment. So if you have a Mac computer and you need to practice something in Windows, you can use a virtual machine. I'd suggest you look at some other YouTube videos on how to set up a virtual machine for your computer, and you can get going practicing for some things for the performance-based questions. Again, I don't think this is absolutely necessary, but it is a good extra step. For the multiple choice questions, reviewing your cue cards and practicing Jason Dion's tests, I believe will be sufficient for doing well on the multiple choice questions. Again, in some of these exams, I didn't feel super confident in the performance-based questions, but I relied on the multiple choice questions to get me through, and in others, I felt better on the performance-based questions and not as good on the multiple choice based questions. So you really don't know. Let's say you do your performance-based questions and you don't feel like maybe you got 1 out of the 3. There's still 90 more multiple choice questions, so don't really stress out and give up or freak out on the exam. Really try to keep your composure. You can definitely still pass the exam if you don't do well in the performance-based questions, so don't stress out too much about that. So if you guys did make it this far in the video, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If this video was helpful for you, please leave it a thumbs up. This will help me with the YouTube algorithm and it will show other people who want to pass their CompTIA A+ this video. So now the point or the part that you guys have all been waiting for, how to save some money on your CompTIA A+ voucher purchase or basic bundle purchase, as I recommended in this video. So the basic bundle is $720. If you do want to save some money, I recommend joining the Store Club. So the Store Club is a $50 one-time purchase, and it lasts a single year, and you get 20% off all your CompTIA purchases if you do join the Store Club. So let's say you were to spend the $50 on the Store Club, you would save $144 on your basic bundle. It's definitely worth it. You save almost $100 on the certificate. Also, if you were looking to maybe do some other certificates down the road, like Network Plus or Server Plus or Security Plus, you can use this 20% Store Club membership. It will apply to future certificates as long as it's within the year. Alright guys, so this video was strictly a study plan, how to pass your CompTIA A+ on your first attempt, and my recommended strategy for doing so. As I have already taken the certificate, if you guys want my opinion on the certificate, if I recommend taking it, what skills it gives you, maybe what doors it opens in terms of positions and salaries, please let me know. I will make this as my next video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.